Hello, what is up guys? Today I have a build for you all, and this build is from a Korean. He's currently 470 LP challenger in Korea, and he's also been 700 LP, and he's a Draven main. I'd say almost a Draven one trick, pretty much like me. And he has a very peculiar build, and I've been trying this out a bit in some solo queue games. I streamed a bit today with some of this gameplay from this build, and I have to say it's very weird. It's very different from anything else I've ever tried, but it seems to not be too bad. I'd say it seems actually pretty good. And before you start thinking what the fuck is this build, let me first tell you the runes. Okay, so the runes of this build is you go Kleptomancy, into Perfect Timing, into Future's Market, into Approach Velocity. Then you go Sorcery, and the reason why you do this is so you get 16 plus AD level 1. You go Sorcery with Mana Flow Band and Celerity. You can also swap this out for Absolute Focus. I think both of those are fine, but in this build you do go Yumus. I think maybe Celerity is better. And you essentially go first item GA, and the reason why you do this and the reason why it works is because of Perfect Timing. Perfect Timing is a rune, and it gives you a stopwatch, and this stopwatch is essentially 600 gold towards Guardian Angel, and it also reduces the cooldown of Guardian Angel by 15%. So this makes it so that instead of Guardian Angel being 2,400 gold, it's 1,800. And because you also have Future's Market, a lot of the time you'll only need around maybe 1,600 gold for the item, which you can easily do the first or second time you backed, if you back with a large sum of gold, which can be a huge power spike and can be really, really big. So you go Guardian Angel, first item. I know it sounds fucking weird. It sounds weird, but it is good. And then you go into Yumus, and then you go into Bloodthirster. So essentially with these three items you'll be hitting your spike, and I think this build is quite strong early but falls off a lot harder later on in the game than, for example, the build that I've been running most, which is Bloodthirster into Infinity Edge into Rapid Fire. I'd say that build scales a lot better than this build, but I mean, this build seems to have a stronger early game and also a safer early game with Guardian Angel. So essentially, after you get the Bloodthirster in this build, you'll be getting either an Infinity Edge or an attack speed item. I would also recommend getting Berserker Greaves after you've gotten GA, since you have really low attack speed. You can also do Ninja Tabi if you're used to the attack speed and you think it's okay. If they have a lot of AD, then I think it's fine to go Ninja Tabi, or a lot of people that are jumping onto you. And after you've done your Bloodthirster, then you have Yumus, GA, and Bloodthirster. You can either go Static, Rapid Fire, or Infinity Edge, I'd say, are those three that I'd recommend. Infinity Edge if you want like large crits, and Rapid Fire if you just want long range and a bit more DPS, and Static Shield if you really need the wave clear. And you go from there either into a Lord Dominik's or another attack speed item or an Infinity Edge. If you went Infinity Edge, then you should either go Lord Dominik's or an attack speed item. If you want an attack speed item, then you should either go Lord Dominik's or Infinity Edge in your last slot. That depends on if they have a lot of armor or if they do not. And then after you've finished all of this, you should sell your Yumus for either an attack speed item or Infinity Edge if they had a lot of armor and you didn't end up picking that up. So your full build, you should have sold your Yumus, because full build Yumus is not that good, since most people will have some armor, so the lethality won't be that useful. And also, it's only 55 AD, and it's quite a low-cost item compared to a lot of other late-game items. So I'd say definitely it's better to replace that with an attack speed item, which is a lot more DPS late game. But this build to me, it seems really troll, but this guy, he's a really good Draven player. He's been 700 LP in Korea, and he has a 63% win rate with Draven in Season 7 after 150 games, and he seems like he really knows Draven quite well, and I've been trying it out myself. I've played around 40 games of it so far, and it seems pretty good to me. I still haven't quite gotten a good grasp of it, but I feel like I'm also playing a bit bad, so might impact it a little bit, but it seems quite good to me, and I will be testing it out more. I will be bringing you guys updates, but I just wanted to put this out as fast as possible so you guys can also try out this build and tell me what you think about it, because this build, it's very different from anything I've ever seen. This is the sort of thing that goes very against any meta we've ever had of Draven builds. I don't think I've ever seen anybody be like, yeah, you gotta build GA first item. But now with Stopwatch making it so much more cost efficient, that seems to be a much better purchase than it was ever before. So this might be a really good build. I guess time will tell. Right now I do think it's good, and it also has the same DPS as if you spend 5,000 gold with this build, you'll get GA, Yumu's, and boots. And if you spend 5,000 gold with my old build, which would be Bloodthirster into Infinity Edge, but you'd only have enough for Bloodthirster, pickaxe, and boots, then you'd have the same DPS as this build. So at 5,000 gold, this build gives you lethality and movement speed from Yumu's, and the GA passive, which is very valuable early game, for the same DPS as the old build, but you lose the lifesteal. So it is a trade-off, but it does seem to me like this build is a lot better early game, and yeah, time will tell. Okay, just a little update. I actually played a few more games with this build, and it feels amazing. I actually like it so much. Once I sort of got used to having GA early and playing more aggressive, it's actually so nice. I've baited people out with both the Stopwatch and the GA, and I feel like there's so much you can do with it, and I don't know. It's a really fun build, and the only thing that I think you need to be good at with this build is using the activates from Kleptomancy. Sometimes I forget to use an elixir in fights, and that really costs me pretty heavily. And for example, getting an elixir of wrath, which is like 15 AD, that can really help a ton both early game and in the mid game. And it's really important to have the items that you get in a slot that you'll use quickly, so you can always use the items that you get efficiently and quickly. That's something that I think is the biggest thing with this build, because most people probably aren't used to getting so many actives, so you have to always be using those. And I think also getting used to having a GA so early is also something that takes some getting used to, because you can play so much more aggressively and you can sort of bait people out, and you can die in the middle of the enemy team, and then your team can protect you while you respawn, and then you can kill everybody, which has happened a few times with me. And I really popped off once with this build, and it felt really, really good, actually. It's so good against assassins, and there's a lot of burst ADs in the meta right now, and I think especially against a heavy AD comp, this build is really, really good. You get 40 armor early game, and you also get GA versus assassins, which is amazing. So yeah, I really like this build, and especially if you're up against assassins, I think this build is very, very well good. Especially like Kha'Zix, he can't kill you. Right here is some footage from my stream of this build. Actually, oh, get fucking outplayed! Woo! That's fine, actually, that's fine. Could have been better, but it's fine. That's really annoying, actually. Oh, there's a little Jace. Wait, what did it help me? Oh, I guess you got the... I kept trying to use my Yumu's, but I had it in the wrong slot. Some 9/11 cosplay. Oh my goodness, that flash was nice. And oh my goodness, that save. Oh, I pushed him towards her. Fuck. was a nice save at first, and then I kind of entered. Nice. Okay. Yeah, I really need Last Whisper. I really fucking need Last Whisper. Oh, a pick! And he took the red buff. Oh, another pick. Might be game. Stop it! Don't touch our cannon. Tank it. GG. This build is busted. I told you guys. Without this build, it would have been impossible to win. But holy fuck, this was a hard-fought victory. Holy shit. Ugh.